Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is the stay-at-home book tag. I saw this actually in Paperback Princess's video a couple of days ago, and I thought it would be the perfect book tag since obviously we're all stuck at home with lockdown and quarantine, and I thought it would be a fun way to put a positive spin on the situation because I'm sure if you guys are like me, you're probably getting stir crazy and you're wanting to go out and do stuff, and we just can't do that right now, unfortunately. So to that, I figured I would answer some questions based on the book tag videos. I've got my books over here, and yeah, let's just kind of dive in. As usual, before I get started, please let me know in the comments if you have read any of these. I always tag everybody to do this at the end of my video, so feel free to do that, or even if you don't want to make a video, let me know what your choices would be as I go along and answer these questions. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so the way that this works is every question is matched to basically an activity or subject that you associate with staying at home these days. So for example, the first one that we've got is Laying in Bed, aka a book that you have or could read in a single day. And for that, I chose Princess Jellyfish. I absolutely adored this book. It was the first manga that I ever read, and you guys might have seen me talk about it on this channel before, for sure in my last video where I was talking about how I'm going to dive into more manga. This is the first and only one that I've read so far, and it's so charming. Essentially what it's about is a girl coming into her own. She is from the country and she moves into a big city, into Japan, and she makes a bunch of friends. There is a love triangle, love interest situation happening, but it's so sweet and she's so endearing, and it's just, it's such a feel-good story. So it is part of a series. This one, obviously, even though the pages seem like there's a lot, because it's clearly animated, it was such a quick read for me. Also because of the fact that the storytelling was so compelling, I definitely read this one in one sitting. Next up, we have Snacking, aka a guilty pleasure book. Now, I can take that a couple of different ways, but for the purpose of this video, I'm considering guilty pleasure a book that I have read more than once, or at least I plan to read more than once. And for that, I've got A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is actually the second book in her Court of Thorns and Roses series, and it is my favorite book of the series by far. You guys, hopefully you can see this. You can actually see my bookmark here. This is from me rereading it, basically. But I love this one out of the entire series so much because we get so much more meat into my favorite character, Reese. I love him so much, and even though we were introduced to him in the first book, we see way more about his character in the second book, and I absolutely love it so much. So many good scenes, so many like plot points and action scenes that it just, I love it. So I'm not gonna necessarily tell you what this one is about because one, it's super popular, and two, I don't want to like fangirl gush and take up too much time, but if it sounds like something that you're interested in and you for some reason don't know what it's about, please like Google it or look it up on Goodreads or other YouTube videos because there's a ton of info out on it, and maybe you can see why it's such a big deal for me and why I reread it. Okay, next up is Netflix, aka a series you want to start. Now, interestingly enough, I coincidentally had a video, I believe last week or a few videos back, where I talked about all of the series that I want to start, and so one of them is the Harry Hole series. Now, the book that I'm holding up is The Bat, and this is a long-running Nordic noir crime fiction series by Norwegian author Jo Nesbø, and I have been wanting to dive into this for the longest time. Harry Hole is a police detective that we follow as he investigates different crimes and cases, not all the time in Norway. I think maybe he goes out of the country a few times, but regardless, it's dark, it's procedural, it's right up my alley, and so I'm very surprised I haven't started it yet, but I plan to, which is exactly why it is my Netflixed pick. Deep Clean is next, aka a book that has been on your TBR forever. That actually wasn't hard for me to pick because I've got a whole shelf of TBR books collecting dust that I don't want to show you guys, but I pulled this off of it, and it is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. It's been a while since I even looked up what this book is about, so let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. It is a fantasy book, and it involves two magicians dueling each other because they are rivals, and it takes place in worlds that are opposite that can be access to. That's about all I got. Obviously, it's been on my TBR for a while because I can't specifically remember what it's about. However, I heard that it's excellent. I know that Victoria Schwab, aka V.E. Schwab, is an excellent writer and that the imagery is really good. I have heard a few reviews about the magic system, and I'm not sure if it's going to work for me or not, but that doesn't matter. I'm still eager to dive into this one, and so I'm hoping maybe I'll be prompted to finally crack it open since we are stuck in quarantine and I've got nothing but time on my hands. Oh man, okay, so the next category is Animal Crossing, aka a book that you bought because of the hype. So let me just take a moment really quick to talk about Animal Crossing because I gave into the hype and I got Animal Crossing. So I think that it's super funny that Paperback Princess chose that as the category label because that is completely accurate if you guys are in the know about Animal Crossing, because they just came out with a new version of the game and it is perfect timing because obviously because people are stuck at home, they've got nothing but time to kill, and since the game is new, they've been spending hours and hours playing it. So I haven't gotten mine just yet, but I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so back to the book. One that I bought because of the hype is Ninth House. I have talked about this book and I have held it up in front of the camera so many times, and sadly, the most recent time that I held it up was talking about books that I'm no longer interested in. Cue the sad trombone noises. So yeah, I was really excited to read this. It came out end of last year, and it is kind of a dark urban fantasy maybe, where it deals with witches and wizards and secret societies set in college, and it still sounds interesting to me, but I just my zeal to pick it up is just not as heavy, and so I finally just had to like let it go. But in the meantime, I definitely bought this when it originally came out because of the hype, and so that hype has since fizzled, so we're just gonna like put it down here. Productivity is next, aka a book that you learned or had an impact on your life. And for that, I chose the bullet journal method by writer Carol. Now, I think I may have actually profiled this earlier in the year as part of my like New Year's resolution books books to help you achieve your New Year's resolutions. But regardless, if you're not familiar with the bullet journal method, it's essentially a organizational system that you use kind of like a planner or agenda, but it's broken down in a way to help you simplify and streamline your tasks and basically anything that you have to write down to organize. And as someone who has been a lifelong stationery nerd, planner lover, etc., I've always held some kind of planner in my life. In fact, too many, because what will happen is, if you're a planner girl like I am, you'll know what I'm talking about. You start off the new year with a shiny new notebook and you're writing your plans and you got all of your supplies, and then like something new comes along and you want to switch to that. And before you know it, you've got like half a dozen half-finished agendas or binders or planner systems, and all your plans are just all over the place because you're too concerned with finding like the perfect thing. Well, that finally stopped when I discovered the bullet journal method. I will say hands down, it is the singular system that I have stuck with the longest. Now, I'm still trying to come to grips with like owning too many notebooks, but in terms of how I put down and organize all of my tasks and to-dos, this has been a game changer. So if you are either looking for a way to organize your stuff or you know, you want to try something new, I would highly recommend giving this a try because it is very simple. Now, it will be intimidating in the beginning because there is like a key or some symbols that you use, but once you get it down, it's super simple, it's very easy, and I love that it's very customizable. So I realize I'm like on my soapbox about this, so we're gonna stop talking about it. But yes, this, needless to say, changed my life, and so I absolutely love it. Also, like, the cover's like really shiny and cute, right? Next up, we have Facetime, aka a book that you were gifted, and for that I've got Mouthful by Ciara Grisham. I actually was sent this by the publisher, Tool Publishing, and for that, I'm super grateful to them because that was very generous of them to send me a copy. It actually just came out, I want to say, beginning of last month, so it's fairly new. But essentially, this one is a new adult romance, and it involves a young woman in college, and she meets a guy who is, I believe, a football star. Yes, he's a football star, and the two of them are obviously unlikely couple that end up together, but because he's a jock and she's trying to stay focused on her schoolwork, they find common ground and they're trying to figure out how to make their relationship work. It's been a while since I have read new adult. In fact, I don't usually read a lot of it, but this one sounded interesting to me because I will say I do like the aspect of the She's All That, if you guys remember that movie from like the early 2000s. But yeah, this was gifted to me and I'm super grateful for it, and it sounds really good too. So if you guys are into new adult or you remember the movie She's All That, check this one out. Okay, so this next one doesn't necessarily involve a book, but it's all about self-care, aka something that you have been doing recently to take care of yourself. And my answer to that is that I have been taking midday walks with my pups around my neighborhood lake. Luckily, it's not crowded because my neighborhood is very small and this lake is like tucked in away in the cut somewhere. But during lunch, when I don't have any meetings, I will take them there. We'll do a couple of laps. You know, they'll get to see the geese and bark at them, and I get some outdoor time, some fresh air, because even though working from home for me isn't necessarily way out there because I already did it part-time before all of this happened, it's still good to like get out and move my body. And so it definitely has helped me with that like 2 o'clock sluggish feeling, and it rejuvenates me, which I absolutely love. So yeah, I've been doing that and I really like that I have been doing that, and I'm hoping that once all of this is over, it's something that I'm going to continue because it definitely brightens my day. Okay, so our last one is a bonus, and that is a book coming out soon. Now, I don't think she specified if it's like a book you're excited about or just any book. I'm gonna assume it's a book you're excited about because otherwise, why would you talk about it? But I don't know what soon qualifies as, but my response to that is Riley Sager's Home Before Dark, which I am super, super excited about, guys. You just don't even know. This one is actually expected to come out end of June. I think it was supposed to come out in July, but I got word that he bumped up the release date, which is like perfect timing. But this one I heard is supposed to be even scarier, kind of like a homage to those 80s scary movies like The Exorcism, or what's the one that's in the house? Is it The Exorcism? Ugh, I'm getting all my scary movies mixed up, but oh, Amityville Horror. There it is. Yeah, it's supposed to be an homage to Amityville Horror because it is about a young woman who goes back to this house that her and her family used to live in, but when she was little, they ended up moving out because the dad thought it was haunted, and so years later, when the dad is dead, she finds his old diary entries about the house and goes back to investigate. Oh, it sounds super creepy, and if I'm being honest, if this were in movie form, I would be so torn about watching it because it sounds interesting, but I know I might watch the whole movie like this, like through slits in my eyes. Obviously, you can't do that when you're reading, so I'm really excited about it, but I'll probably only be able to read it like during the daytime, no nighttime reading. But anyway, so yeah, those are all of the questions. I really thought that this was a fun one. Again, I'm super excited to kind of read through, or rather listen to everyone's answers, which I plan on doing after I upload this video. But please let me know, like I said, what you guys think about these questions and what your answers to them are. If you end up doing this video, please tag me or let me know so that I can see your responses. As usual, in terms of like, well, who do you tag? you guys. I tag you guys. So yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this video. I hope you guys are doing well. You know, mental sanity right now is more important than ever. So if you can, please take a walk outside for just 5 minutes, obviously staying safe. But the vitamin D in the sunshine, I swear, helps. At least it does for me. And I'm hoping it continues to do that and helps for you too. So anyway, I will talk to you guys next time, and happy reading. Bye.